If you're not sure why your Google Ads dashboard is showing green arrows going up, ROAS is super strong, but your margins are shrinking and your actual business performance is getting worse, this is the video for you. So it's going to break down what contribution margin is, CM1, CM2, CM3, and then how we can actually tie that back to the Google Ads account and stop using ROAS as sort of be all or end all. It should be treated as directional, not definitive. Cool. So super quick one. In the ads account, you'll all be aware of it. You've got your conversions, which is whatever we choose to tag up, usually a sale for ecom. Conversion value, what is the value of the basket that you've just had a customer buy? And then what is the conversion value cost, or ROAS? For every £1 of spend, how much do you get back in revenue? Yes, it's great as a directional, helps you try and understand what the account is doing, but actually we need to sort of take it a step further because this is model data. There's privacy and cookie issues going here. There's lots of guesstimations. It's easily manipulated. A ROAS doesn't actually tell you if the business is growing or getting worse. Doesn't tell you how performance was against margins, against new customer volume, how much you paid per new customer. So we need to start looking at the back end side of things. We're going to look at contribution margin and we're going to look at NCAG. So what is contribution margin? Simply put, it's a waterfall. We need to stop looking at gross revenue, which is usually where your Google Ads account stops. It might be gross, whatever the basket value is, maybe with a discount in there. And that's where you stop. And everyone reports of that as the truth and as that as revenue. That's great. But what actually happens after those transactions? So you go down the waterfall into net revenue first. So what actually happened? Let's take off that. People are going to refund and return things quite a lot. Fashion, this is like 30-40%. Big ticket items like furniture, it's a lot less, but it still happens. So you need to be thinking in the back of your mind, whatever you see in the ads account is the start of things, it's not the end of things. So once you've taken off your returns and the other factors that impact net revenue, you then form this as your base. So net is almost like your start, not your gross. Then you need to take off how much it actually costs you to produce the thing that you've just sold. So that's your cost of goods, and your inbound freight, how much it actually costs you to build it and get it into the UK or wherever you're selling it. So that's CM1. Typically, in furniture, that could be like 40% of net. And then you're not done either. So some businesses then try and do some sort of ROAS modeling on CM1, which is a good starting point, but you've still missed out a lot of different line items that affect profitability too. So CM2 is when you actually get your contribution margin percentage, is when you then strip out all the other variable costs. So how much did it actually cost you to pick and pack it, fulfill the order, payment fees, buy now, pay later, return handling costs. All of these things are hitting your P&L. Just because it's a lot harder to model out doesn't mean that you should only stick at CM1. So once you take out all of that, you've got your CM2. That is what the foundations of your calculations could be built upon. And we'll get back to that in a second. After that, you've then got down to CM3, which is what happens when you've got that percentage figure and then you take off marketing as well. Once you've got that, you've almost got like your variable profit amount. You can then take it a step further and take off any fixed fees that are tied to per SKUs. Like you might have warehouse costs every month that you then allocate a percentage per transaction. So it might be that your warehouse fees are £5,000 for the month. Each SKU that you sell, every transaction is like, I don't know, £5 attribute to it. For example, you can model in CM4 for fixed fees, or you can just leave it at variable profit, a CM3. But suddenly we've gone from having a gross figure that looks really great in the ads account, stripping it all down, it's a lot harder and it's a lot worse. So you need to know CM2 and then how your ad spend impacts things for CM3, and also freelancer fees, analytics, subscriptions, all of that gets tapped into CM3 as well. So really brands are up here in gross and they're using the platform, which is modeled and its estimation is rose tinted, but actually we need to know CM2, work out CM3 on top of it, and then how much we're actually spending per customer, what the new customer volume is, and is that making us any money? So how do we actually do this? Simply put, we would use something like a unit economics calculator. This is one that I've built. I've built around 7 or 8 for different verticals with preset default values in there. This is completely customizable. Takes like 2-3 minutes. You plug in your numbers per SKU or the same range if they've all got the same margin band, and you can actually work out super quickly, am I making any money or not? So in this example, let's say it's a lighting brand. They've sold 100 table lamps this month. They're bougie, they're expensive. They cost £350 per lamp. You run a 10% discount on all of them. They return 20% of them. 20% of the orders are buy now, pay later. Your COGS are 40%, so that's CM1, plus your shipping and your warehouse fees, your transaction costs, return handlings, You can attack in your acquisition spend of 5K. And then suddenly you can actually work out, okay, well, how much we have spent to acquire a new customer was £66. And our break even limit to make no money on that order was 124 up here. We are positive, therefore, we can push more spend. We pushed CM3 already, and we still had, a variable profit of 29% with that 5K ad spend. We can push it more. So this just breaks it down super cleanly. We started off with our net revenue at 25 or gross at 31. We followed it down, take off your COGS, then you're left with your 55% CM1, which is what brands try and model sometimes. And then you take off all the rest of it, your shipping, your warehouse, your transaction fees, all of that stuff gets stripped out. You're down to just under 50%. Then you then go and take off your marketing. You're down to 30%, all of your acquisition costs. That's not just ad spend. Then you're down to just under 30%. But then you can use these break-even ROAS targets. So your COGS at break-even is 1.8, but you also know that's not enough because you've then got all of the CM2 line items. Contribution break-even as 2.04. You can then take that ROAS target of 2, put it into your Google Ads account as a proxy, and then measure success in the back end. So this way, you're loosely bidding to what your break-even on the first order is, and you can verify in the back end, okay, well, if our total contribution, our CM2, was 12K, and we had this many orders of 100, the max we can spend is 124. Are we above or below £124 in our CM3? How much we're spending per new customer? Super simple. It's a little bit fiddly to set up. Super easy if you're Shopify or any sort of native e-commerce backend. Once you've got your CM2, work out your NCAC, and then you can use these proxy break-even values to help you scale properly. Don't rely on ROAS as just a set and forget, or it sounds like it's good. The higher the number, it usually goes after warmer and existing customers. Set it super low, it's going to go into colder auctions. There'll be new customers, but they might be lower quality, take longer to convert. It might impact your profitability. It's a balancing game. So we need to make sure that we know how much we can afford to spend to acquire a new customer, what our margins actually are, our contribution margin, and therefore what the ROAS proxy is. Do these 3 things, adjust it as you go, and you'll see much better performance in the ads account.